welcome to another episode of Will of the Meeple, and today I wanted to show you Stone Age on Board Game Arena. Given the current pandemic, I know a lot of people are struggling to get gaming time in, as most game clubs are still closed, and having people around isn't an option for everybody. I've been mainly playing board games with my gaming group on Tabletop Simulator every Thursday, but recently I found I can get a quick game of Stone Age on Board Game Arena in around an hour for 4 players, or a 2-player game lasting around 20 minutes. And there's even a mobile app so you can play it on your phone or tablet, but it can be quite fiddly, so I'd stick to a laptop or a PC. Now, up until a couple of weeks ago, I'd never played Stone Age, and jumping into an online game with a bunch of strangers can be quite daunting when you've never played it before and don't know what you're doing. So I thought I'd do this quick guide on how to play Stone Age on Board Game Arena, and best of all, it's completely free. So before the game starts, I'll just explain the basics. Now, I've only been playing it a couple of weeks, so I won't be giving many game-winning tactics, but I'll show you how the game works, and you can work the rest out once you've had a few games. So Stone Age is a worker placement game where you place workers to gain resources, then spend those resources to buy either civilization cards or buildings. You can also gain agriculture points that produce food or tools that will help you gather more resources. So first of all, we have the forest. Placing people here will gain you wood. On each turn you can place as many workers as you want here to fill up the available spaces. Then at the end of your turn you get to roll the number of dice equal to the workers you have placed on here. Then divide the total dice roll by 3 and that's how many wood you get. So for example, if you place 3 workers on here you will get to roll 3 d6 dice. Let's say you roll a 3, 5 and a 6. This will total 14. Divide this by 3 and it gives you 4 pieces of wood. If you have any tools available, you can now use them to increase your total, which may get you an extra piece of wood. We'll talk about getting tools later. Next we have the clay pit, that produces brick. This works similar to the forest, but you divide the total dice roll by 4 instead of 3. However, using brick will get you more points than using wood. Then we have the quarry, which produces stone. Again, this is similar to the forest and the clay pit, but this gains you stone equal to your dice roll total divided by 5. And on the far right we have the river that produces gold. This works the same as the other locations, but as gold is more valuable, it's the total dice roll divided by 6. Other locations include the hunting ground. This is where you gather food. At the end of each round you need to have enough food to feed all your workers. If you don't have enough food you can use other resources, or alternatively you can lose 10 points, but this is not advisable. At the end of each round you feed the workers based on your agriculture level for free, then use food for the rest. It's a good idea to increase your agriculture level to equal the number of workers you have. This way you don't need to worry about gathering food, but also this can score you points based on the civilization cards you have bought. We'll go over this shortly. So next we will look at agriculture space. You can only place 1 worker here each round, and this will increase your agriculture level by 1. Next to this we have the hut. You must place 2 workers here, and at the end of the round you gain an extra worker. Not only does this allow you to accommodate more spaces or roll more dice in future rounds, you can also get more points for certain civilization cards. And just above here we have the tool maker. Placing a worker here will gain you 1 tool, which you can use to add 1 point to your total dice roll when rolling for resources. You can have up to a maximum of 10 tools, and again, these can gain you additional points based on certain civilization cards. If you have enough resources you can buy buildings. The cost of the building is stated across the bottom, and the points you earn is shown in the top left hand corner. There are also civilization cards that get you extra points based on the number of buildings you have. Finally we have the civilization cards. The far right card costs 1 of any resource, wood, brick, stone or gold, so gathering lots of wood is always a good idea. The card to the left of it costs 2, then 3 and finally 4. At the end of the round any cards left over move to the right. So if there's a card costing 4 resources, you may be able to get it for 1 in the next round. Civilization cards give you points at the end of the game. This card gives you 1 point for each agriculture point you have. This one gives you 1 point for each tool you have. And this one gives you a point for each building you have. There are also cards that give you 2 or 3 points for each of the above, and you can have more than 1 card of the same. So you could have a card that gives you 1 point for each tool, and another card that gives you 2 points for each tool. So if you had 10 tools, that will give you a total of 30 points for these 2 cards. There are also civilization cards with a green background and different images. You gain points for these based on the number of different cards you have squared. So if you have 1 card you get 1 point, 2 different cards is 4 points, 3 cards is 9, 4 is 16, all the way up to 8 different cards is 64 points. And you can have multiple sets of these too, so feel free to pick up duplicates. Most civilization cards give you an instant reward too. For example, this one allows you to roll the number of dice equal to the number of players, which will generate 4 rewards. You get to choose the first one, and then the other players get to choose what they want in turn order. I think that pretty much covers the basics of the game, so let's see how we get on. Okay, so let's find a game. You want to click play now, then select simple game, real time and automatic choice of opponents. If you click the cog next to the game, you can change some game specific settings, like specify how many players you'll prefer. I've changed mine to say I'd rather not play with 4 people, as I prefer quick games and adding more players increases the length of the game. When you're ready, click play now. The game will then find you an opponent and you get to choose if you wish to accept or not. Okay, so here we are. I usually spend the first few rounds gathering either an agriculture level or a new tool. In a 2-player game, you can only use 2 out of the 3 agriculture level tools or new worker spaces. I also grab a load of wood, or if the wood is taken, grab some bricks, as you can use any resource to buy civilization cards, so it makes sense to use the ones that are easier to obtain. And you should really be buying at least 1 civilization card each round, as these are what gets you the points at the end. Once everyone has placed their workers, it's time to use them. Players take it in turns to return all their workers and gain the resources or rewards from their placement. Now don't forget to do things in the right order too when you use your workers. If you have a worker on the new tool, always bring them back before rolling for resources, as you can then use the new tool to try and obtain more resources. And sometimes a card may gain you resources that you can then use when buying a building or another card. So it's important to try and chain these events together. So the game is over now. It was a close one, but I lost by 35 points, which is pretty close. As you can see, I had 6 civilization cards with the green backgrounds, which means I get 6 times 6 points, which is 36. I got 4 points for each building, and I had 5 buildings. 5 points for each tool, 2 points for each agriculture level, and 1 point for each worker that I had. So you can see how the points can be earned from a variety of different cards. Hope you enjoyed this video and that it comes in useful in learning Stone Age. And if you did, subscribe to my channel for more board game videos. That's all for now, thanks for watching.